for fast, cheap, and reliable Madden 23 coins. Make sure you guys go check out my sponsor, AOEAH.com. Use code VENOM at checkout for 3% off your order. Yo, what's good guys, Venom Fire here, back on the video, and today we're going to be hopping into another Madden 23 defense. Today we're going to be running cover 4 palms out of the big nickel over G formation. Big nickel over G is something that we have not gone into yet, so I figured we should jump into it and just introduce a new formation with some new concepts behind it. Now, we are in the Kansas City Chiefs defensive playbook. Once again, Kansas City Chiefs. I'm going to move my face cam up for a second so you guys can actually see some of the things we're doing. But Chiefs playbook once again. Now, Chiefs playbook, you'll probably be asking yourself, why are we using big nickel and not nickel? We'll answer that throughout the video. But yeah, so going into big nickel over G, the first thing that you're going to want to do is take a look at your packages. It's going to be with the right stick at the very bottom of your screen. You see right, I just hit my watch, but right stick packages, and you can move it. Now, for this scheme, you want to be on the slot corner package. Now, why are you on the slot corner package? That's going to change your adjustments. Big nickel over G is very unique in the way that it's run, and it actually has unique adjustments if you are not on the slot corner package, which sometimes can be valuable, but other times, you know, I want to be able to put my slot corner in a curl flat type vibe. So I'm sure it makes some sense. But yeah, overall, that is about it. Now, as far as personnel wise, you can go ahead and get some of your safeties there. I'm not sure why. A little bit confusing there. All right, I think we got it. But you can get some safeties at linebacker if you want. We're just going to rock with the guys that we have right now. But as far as your coach adjustments, go ahead, throw match coverage on. And once again, the play that we're going to run is going to be cover 4 palms. Now, cover 4 palms is going to be on the left-hand side there. You can turn auto flip on. But cover 4 palms is going to play just a little bit different than cover 4 quarters. And if you notice, why are we using big nickel over G? If you go to nickel over, you do not have cover 4 palms in this one. And I don't think any nickel over has cover 4 palms this year, if I'm not mistaken. I think it used to. Not anymore, though. All you have is quarters. So cover 4 palms is exclusive to formations like big nickel over G or maybe a nickel 2-4. I'm not exactly sure. But without further ado, let's jump straight into it. We are rocking with the Eagles, even though I am a Cowboys fan. We decided to rep the Eagles just to represent how badly Justin Jefferson got put into jail on Monday night. So actually was kind of happy to see that. It justified my Austin Eckler over Justin Jefferson pick in fantasy football a little bit better. So your boy's not getting flamed as much for that pick, despite Austin Eckler just somehow being in the doghouse without actually doing anything bad. But we're going to be going up against Bunch. I think Bunch is probably the best formation in the game right now. Pretty simple. Tight is good if you're playing against lower level guys, but the moment you face someone who's good, that's when tight gets difficult, because if someone really knows how to play defense, it's not the best. Now, here we are in our cover 4 palms. We are already baseline, so if you want, you can press, or you can run it classically. You can either baseline press or not. It's up to you. Now, another reason big nickel over G is good is the sheds seem to be really good out of this formation. I'm sure historically they have been good. Madden 20 was really popular. Madden 21, a decent amount of people ran it. Not too much last year, but ever since it was introduced, it's been really good for sheds. And you can either pinch your line or not. It doesn't really matter, but we'll stick with a simple setup. Now, going into our adjustments, you can user a couple of different players here. We'll just start out by using our 3-rec hook, and I'll explain why it might not be the best idea to do that. But offensively, what are we in? Verticals. So let's run verticals, and you see how you kind of have to make a decision in the middle of the field on who you want to defend. It just puts a lot of pressure on your user, because when you're the only one in the 3-rec hook, your assignment isn't really clear, if that makes any sense at all. I'm not sure if I'm going to have to take the running back or take the tight end. And again, these zones in the middle here, they switch off a lot, so they'll jump from route to route. When you're using it, you're not really sure which one you're going to be doing. So I think that it is better to use someone else. Specifically in verticals, you notice how the tight end's open immediately, so you have to follow him. Then someone gets matched on and you can switch off. But that is the power of maybe why you won't want to baseline press, because you notice how Darius Slay in this situation is the one who actually gets matched on. So that might be a reason why you want to press normally, which again is perfectly fine. As far as hovering, I'll usually just hover here. It doesn't really matter, but there you see everything pretty much caged. So, and of course I would take the running back. So that's one way to do it. Now, another person that you can go ahead and use is going to be this player, which I will strongly recommend using against Gun Bunch. Now, you do have to watch out for a couple of different things. It depends. Since you do have match on, you should be good as far as deep coverage goes, but there are always defensive breakdowns. There's some kind of a motioned out deep post from right to left. You want to be careful. Generally, if there's a post from left to right with a guy like Jefferson in this situation, we should expect James Bradbury on the left-hand side there to match with him and just run with that post route, which is why we have match on. Otherwise, we would take it. But yeah, really you're watching things like these deeper routes, deeper kind of crossing routes that go from right to left. So that's really your responsibility, and you should be able to take those. So overall, the coverage there in this situation, I mean, it's pretty good. Everything seems to be taken away relatively well. Now, of course, there are certain routes that get open, like the running back. Let's throw the running back on something else, like a wheel route. And again, you can kind of pinch your whole defense. It doesn't really matter. But here you see, again, coverage pretty good. They try to go over the top. You have your slot corner who ends up getting matched on there. Now, let's say they motion out the wheel route, which is a possibility. And again, we'll switch up the plays a little bit, but just trying to show some basic stuff. Let's say they motion out Adam Thielen, throw the running back on a little out route, something like this. Just to mix it up, we'll pinch our defense once again. If you're using the safety, I like to just stand there. I'm not going to come down in the box and bluff something, which you could do, but if he knows you're running cover 4, he knows you're kind of running cover 4. Now you see that actually helps us out when you motion out, because now our slot corner will take the tight end, which is ultimately what you would want in a perfect world, and how your outside corner is just going to traditionally match onto the wheel route, which does seem to do better rather than those guys flip-flopping. Everything else, quarter flat takes your out route, and then tight end, once again, your responsibility is going to be that deeper route. So overall, that's a good situation of coverage defense. Now, let's say they want to go with corner route. Corner route's good in this game. Bunch, pretty good. Now, corner routes are interesting. I'll show you a couple of different things. Now, also going back to the point, why do we use palms? Palms seems to be a little bit more aggressive of a cover 4. I'm not sure the technical difference for football reasons. Who knows? But I think the zones will just match differently. It's a little bit more aggressive. So here you see a corner out situation. Corner out, it's going to be caged. If they are running a corner out heavy offense, what is typically best to do is baseline press. Now, baseline press, it does kind of open up someone, and that guy's name is Adam Thielen. So we're in the wrong play here, but sometimes when you're running the cover 4 like this, you do have a window to kind of throw this to the streaks. So that's why you need an athletic, strong safety. If you're running cover 4, you need a lot of speed there. I wouldn't be against putting a cornerback there just for some extra help in the back end, because you need some good recovery speed for things like those deeper streak routes. So be aware of that. And then again, sometimes you'll see them pass it to the outside. So you see the corner outs getting caged though. By our boy Darius Slay. He's doing a really good job, and this is what you want out of your corner. This is perfectly defended. It can also bait him. You see something like this, you might try and throw it over the top if he's not experienced playing against palms, and it's going to be really good. Now I'll show you the corner out, same play. We're just going to press normally here. So we're pressing normally, same setup, snap the ball, and you see he seems to be further over the top. I'm sure you could tell that just from a base look. He seems to be, or maybe you could highball that, pass it over. Now, over here on the left side against this particular setup, what do we have? We have just a simple C route and a flat. So when they run that, C route's defended by your quarter, flat's defended by your quarter flat, and everything is taken care of relatively well. Usually with the running backs, the quarter flat can take care of it, and then you have this 3-rec hook that's going to be really free to do whatever he wants in the middle of the field. He'll take whatever route is there, because again, you have your quarter flat on the right in this situation taking our flat. So our slot corner is taking Irv Smith, but overall it's good coverage. Now, let's get into some more difficult stuff. We'll stay in bunch. I'll switch to a tight formation, because against tight, that's definitely a formation you probably don't want to use with the safeties on, because how easy it could be to get streaked. But Something that I like to do out of this is go with a different style of defense. And what we're going to do is go with B in a cloud flat, and we're going to put L1 in a deep half. So this is going to, you still have your match coverage on, but again, the cloud flats won't match, the deep halves won't match. This is just a different style. It can throw them off, and you always want to run this to the bunch side. So if they try to run something like a verticals, it's going to be defended pretty well. You see everything's taken care of. Again, we have a really low overall free safety. He would be on top of that better. But it just definitely can throw people off, especially if they're trying different things against cover 4. Who knows what their cover 4 beater is, but just a simple streak. We saw that it kind of got a little bit of separation. And for the setup, you would want to be baseline press. That's for sure. You don't want to be like this if you're running the cover 2 setup. It's not going to make any sense to do that. You want to be like this. And it's just going to throw him off. He's probably expecting Darius Slay to match. Slay's not going to match, and then he's going to be like, oh, what the heck? Now, it could open up things like the corner route, so that is where you want to be careful. You know, in a perfect world, who's going to take that? It's got to be your user, because ideally I would love if Maddox took it, but he's not going to, so I'll try it again with a little soft squat, see if that makes a difference. It doesn't, so that's why you want to be careful if they run something like a corner route. So it depends play to play. If he's going corner route heavy, I wouldn't do it. It was really good in past years where the quarter flat would be able to take that, and then maybe you threw B on like a hard flat, but it's not as viable anymore. There you see it against verticals again. Pretty good. So that's a setup you can mix in. Again, corner out heavy, it's not good, but if he's mixing it up, you can catch him off guard with that a lot of times. But yeah, corner outs are really good in this game. So if he's mixing that up at all, I would just try and stay away from it. And then I would just audible to other plays. So I'd run my standard cover 4 setup and then audible to something like man coverage or some kind of a cover 3 cloud, something like that, with deeper zone drops so that I don't get beat over the top. Now, let's show something like a tight. I don't think I have bench in any of these audibles, but this play is pretty good. I might switch to a bench just so you can see what that would look like. But here is your look. You're going to pinch the defense once again. And against tight, again, who would you user hypothetically? Probably someone like a Gardner Johnson. But when I user this, something like, I think a setup like this might get open where they streak A. Then you're like, okay, well, I have to take A. And then you see the crosser. The crosser on the left side was wide open. So it's not ideal. You want the safety to be there to play his assignment. And then you want to be able to take the crosser with your user, if that makes any sense. So set it up again, pinch our defense. This time we'll use the 3 receiver hook. Again, I like to hover. Always try and hover. Just, you see this offensively, you're probably like, okay, maybe he's blitzing this slot corner, and there is blitzes out of this formation where that happens. So in this case, you're going to take either the drag or this guy. Now against tight, it's another kind of situation where baselining press is probably not my favorite thing to do in the world. It's good for the corner outs, baseline press, but if they had an option to run a play like this, I might stay away from it, because a play like this, where you notice how James Bradbury is the one defending Justin Jefferson, it's pretty risky. Justin Jefferson's always getting separation on that. This guy's defending Y, which he's going to be in the same position regardless, but if you go ahead, cancel that baseline press, you should be a little bit better off. Now I will switch to a bench play, which they should have. Now again, of course, KJ Osborne's going to get more separation, but I think James Bradbury was playing better coverage there. So there's that. Let's show a bench real quick, and then we'll call it a day. Also, Big Nick over G is pretty good run defense, which who knows if you guys know, but it is pretty good run defense. Let's go bench. Palms. We'll go ahead again. Sometimes when you just pinch your defense straight up, what happens is these guys will flip, so maybe you just want to press. Why is that happening? Someone brought this up in the comments. I'm not sure exactly what you do to fix it, because you saw it was never happening against a bunch when you press, but now. So what you have to do is click on to both safeties, I guess. I'm not sure why that happens, but it is what it is. I wanted to be baseline press, so. But maybe it's because I flipped my play. There could be a couple of reasons, but show stock look against bench, and you see everything's taken care of pretty well. Again, just get some athletic safeties. You can put cornerbacks there if you would prefer that, if you don't have good safeties. But, overall coverage should be pretty good. I don't want you to move over because your zones, it would be fine if your zone's flipped, but your zones don't flip. So it's a walk-in touchdown. Once again, here's the baseline press. You see in this case, Slay actually makes the play on the right side because he has more space. On the left side, you see our outside corner doesn't play that. So some interesting stuff, but overall it's going to be a video. If you guys enjoyed, drop a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel down below, and peace. I'm out.